Hello guys, my name is Amit and welcome to my channel. Today we'll be starting with the new series Mastering Kubernetes, your ultimate guide to understanding Kubernetes and acing your CKA and CKAD certifications. I'm a passionate developer and DevOps enthusiast having years of experience in the tech industry. I'll help you to navigate the complex topics of Kubernetes and make your journey of certification both achievable and enjoyable. Whether you are starting as a Kubernetes adventurer or looking to sharpen your skills, this series is for you. We'll try to cover everything from basics of Kubernetes to advanced concepts, hands-on experiences, and real-world scenario that will help you to prepare for your exam and beyond that. Let me give you a quick understanding of which topics we are going to cover in this series. In first introduction section, we'll try understanding what do you mean by container orchestration. This is the key topic for us to understand what Kubernetes is. Then we'll understand what's the need of Kubernetes, importance of Kubernetes, and why Kubernetes is considered as the solution for container orchestration. Then we'll start setting up the Kubernetes cluster. This will be done on cloud and on-prem. For cloud, we'll be using AWS EKS, and for on-prem, we'll be using Vagrant to create virtual machine using VMware or VirtualBox. We also will see something called the Minikube for those who cannot run both machines, master and worker, at the same time due to the configuration. Then we'll start building the images and start pushing them to the image registries. We'll be using Docker Hub for the same. Then we'll start understanding Kubernetes basics, like how the node architecture is set up, what do you mean by master node, what do you mean by worker node, and how they communicate with each other. Then we'll start understanding namespaces, pods, and so on and so forth. Pods is the basic unit of execution in Kubernetes. We'll understand what are the different states of the pods and how the pods lifecycle is maintained in Kubernetes. Then we'll understand one of the key topics called as the labels. Because of the labels, services, replica sets, deployments can find their respective pods. This is a very important topic. Then we'll start scaling the application by scaling the pods. Scaling means you are either increasing the number of pods or you are going to reduce them based on if you need more load to handle, or if the more load is kind of not needed anymore, you can go for reducing the number of pods. Then we'll understand the deployments. The deployments is the one which will give you an advantage of updating the application or rollbacking the application if something goes bad in one single command. Then we'll start talking about exposing this application to the external worlds by using services. We'll talk about three different types of services: cluster IP, node port, and load balancer. Then we'll understand how the application is running inside the pod. Is it really running? If it is running, what exactly the metrics it is producing by using readiness and the probes. Then we'll talk about the secrets and config map. Both of them are used for storing the key value pairs. If the data is not sensitive, we can put it inside the config map. If it is sensitive, we'll put it inside the secrets. And then we'll start using those secrets and config map values in our application. Then we'll go for advanced topics like ingress, one of the difficult topics to understand because of the real use case is not known to the many people. So we'll try looking at the ingress from EKS perspective and we'll try connecting it to the live or public DNS. Then we'll understand what's the use of it, real use of it. Then we'll understand how to persist the data by using volumes. In Kubernetes, this is called the persistent volume and persistent volume clean. Then we'll go for stateful sets and daemon sets. So we'll understand the requirements of them in those topics. Another important topic, what exactly is the application state at the moment? This can be done by monitoring the Kubernetes cluster. We'll do it by using something called the Prometheus and Grafana. Both of them are industry standard tools. Then we'll go for setting up the autoscaling by using vertical as well as horizontal pod autoscaler. We'll start scheduling the pods on specific nodes by setting up the node affinity, taints, and tolerance. Then we'll understand how the pods communicate with each other, and finally we'll understand what do you mean by Kubernetes operators. This is the last section where we'll try administering the entire Kubernetes cluster by mastering services, understanding advanced topics like service mesh using STO. We'll understand what do you mean by quotas and limits, what do you mean by user management, how to manage the users, their roles and other stuff using something called as rollback access control, RBAC it is known as. We'll understand how the networking works in Kubernetes, what do you mean by kube proxy, how it will help us to communicate from one pod to another pod, or to communicate with service and pod, or how to make the application exposed to outside world. Then we'll go for node maintenance. Many a times as an administrator, I need to update the nodes, or you can say machines, operating system, or Kubernetes cluster version. This is called the node maintenance. How do I do it without affecting the uptime of my application? Then we'll understand how the applications communicate, or how the pod or application running inside the pod communicate with each other via encrypting the traffic by using TLS. And finally, if you want to run our application, we have to deploy it. To deploy the application, there are multiple components of application we have to keep on executing the commands for, which is going to waste too much of our energy, and sometimes it is error prone as well. To solve that problem, we'll go for packaging the entire application using something called as a Helm. Again, industry standard tool which is used for creating the charts, pushing those charts to the repositories, and building and deploying the applications. This is what we are going to cover in this series. So, are you ready to become the Kubernetes Certified Pro? If yes, hit that subscribe button, give the video a thumbs up, and let's dive into the incredible worlds of Kubernetes together. Stay tuned for episode 1, where I'll kick off the things by understanding the Kubernetes architecture and exploring the roadmap to the certification success. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.